narrowly shaped by the school curricula, or the school curricula is made to be flexible to facilitate the students to actualize their potential. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let me explain to all of you about the why the second day of May is the birth of our first education minister, Ki Hajar Dewantara, and our leader in education that promote educational development in Indonesia. He has very important concept in education that's become the theme of this ministry. Tuturi Handayani, yeah, it's part of the philosophy. That's the theme of our ministry. Completely, it's called Engarso Sung Tulodo. This is in Javanese language because yes, Javanese. Ing Matio Mangun Karso Tuturi Handayani. It means that in front, everyone on the leader should become an example for others. In the middle, become a good partner, and in the back, become the mover for others to the Lord. That's the very well-known philosophy of Ki Hajar Dewantara, the leader of education in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, this is quite actually very universal with regard to how we develop education, how we facilitate learning to our students. Now we witness the greater challenge for all of us, the industrial revolutions, or completely industrial revolution 4.0, and then pandemic COVID-19. In a sense, or in one perspective, actually, the pandemic COVID-19 become the enforcer to the way we respond, or we react, or we anticipate the change in science and technology that affect our life. The use of technology, the digital technology in many aspects become more important when we face the pandemic of COVID-19. So again, we expect that the SEAMEO centers will enforce, facilitate, and add the effectiveness of our programs during the pandemic and also post the pandemic of it. So this is what I can say here. Enjoy the seminar. Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, to capture this precious occasion, may we request our guests of honor and all panelists to turn on the camera for group pictures. Mbak Rima?
We are going to divide into two sections. We apologize again for the technical problem. We are going to divide into two sections. Kindly please follow our lead.
Okay, the first section, may we invite all the resource person, VIPs, and BODs of 7 SEAMEO centers to open the cameras. Other panelists, please kindly wait and close the camera. I'm going to close mine too. Okay, so in the count of three, so probably the IT person has already taken it. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. Okay, now everyone in the panelist room are expected to open the camera. Let me see. We have 2 screen. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. First screen. Then we are going to go to the second screen. Please kindly stop on the chat box because it might cover the face of our panelists. Thank you for your cooperation. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to answer the question coming from the participant. No, it's not going to be on the certificate, so don't you worry. Actually, if your face is not been taken, it's not going to affect your certificate. Thank you very much. Mbak Rima, after you.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Rita. We really apologize for the inconvenience. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to proceed to our next agenda. So, our webinar program will be started by presenting two keynote speakers. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology of Indonesia that has presented his keynote speech earlier, and continued by the Director of SEAMEO Secretariat as our keynote speakers.
Before continuing to our second keynote speaker, may I have the honor to introduce our first keynote speaker, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology of Indonesia, Professor Ainun Naim. Professor Ainun Naim obtained his doctoral degree from Temple University, Philadelphia, USA, on business administration. Professor Naim was designated as the Secretary General of the Ministry of Research, Technology, and Higher Education. Currently, alongside his activity as the Secretary General of the MOECRT, he is currently a professor at University of Gadjah Mada, Yogyakarta. Mbak Rima.
Okay. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, joining with us, our second speaker is the Director of SEAMEO Secretariat, Dr. Ethel Agnes Pascua Valenzuela. Dr. Ethel Agnes Pascua Valenzuela is presently the Director of the Southeast Asian Minister of Education Organization Secretariat, the first female director since SEAMEO was management at
standout SEAMEO centers leading educational transformation in Indonesia will share compelling stories and their contributions. Some of them have existed for over 50 years, and the rest, some of them are quite new, almost 10 years or younger. We will listen to the conventional wisdoms from the leaders of SEAMEO centers, governing board members, and others, and learn from them on how they have adapted agile values, of course, created a taxonomy of interventions for education, science, and culture, and of course, their journey in transformation during the COVID-19 pandemic. It is a huge job, and I'm very happy that we are having this very first presentation on what are the outstanding contributions of our SEAMEO centers from Indonesia. Let me share my screen. I hope you can see my screen. Yes? Okay. So I would like to start with, of course, a positive note that today we'll discuss about the contributions and impacts. And of course, impact is a big word. It's quite very difficult to measure. However, let us start with the most important thing, that education is the most fundamental way out of poverty. So our thinking is, if I get educated, if I have education, training, I would have the skills to increase my income and to improve my skills and to increase the value of my country as it competes around the world. If I get better education, I will become a better leader. I can be a better innovator. And of course, the higher your income, the higher your educational level and training, because you show all of this when you do your annual reports, right? So the education and human capital development are closely intertwined. So we say human capital, we always say that in ASEAN, our goal is to increase human capital. And we do that by education and training. So when we say human capital, it's the value of all our experiences, all our skills. And this is measured by access to schooling, access to education, and not just access, but it is also measured into quality of learning. So whatever you get from school, it should be of good quality. And whatever you get from SEAMEO centers, it should be of good quality. So the findings reveal that in the current situation of Southeast Asia and the rest of the world, we have increased our access to education over the years because we were very active in education for all in 1990s and 2000. So access to education has increased, but also the quality is also a problem now because they said that not all are actually learning. So within the context of ASEAN goal of human capacity development, this is where the center should really address that we provide not just access, but also quality. So as mentioned by our dear minister today, in the situation of COVID, more than half of the children in low and middle income countries do not learn to read with comprehension. So we have a Center for Early Childhood who can actually contribute to the discussions. And millions of children are now missing education due to the pandemic. They go hungry, they miss their school feeding program, and for the women and girls, they go for early marriage, child labor, and sometimes we cannot escape violence. So at the heart of this COVID-19 pandemic, we experience a lot of challenges. So many of the poorest children from our region do not have access to online training like this one, or mobile learning, or hybrid learning, what the others are using. And it is projected that 370 million children miss out on free and subsidized school meals. So still in our region, many of our countries offer a school feeding program. And so when not in school, they have all of those challenges, such as early pregnancy and the rest. So at least 24 million children now, it already reached a lower level now, but they're projected to still drop out of the school because of the pandemic, and that's a huge number still to address. 24 million children who will not have the chance to improve the human capital of the country and of the region. So we are forced to learn in lockdown, to pursue home-based learning, to use digital technology, and it also affects many who are losing their jobs. There are also many who are losing their jobs. They cannot cope with this, work from home, digitalization. They simply cannot. And a lot of workers are displaced. We're saying that the SEAMEO centers can help because we also promote lifelong learning, right? So we don't want to continue with learning poverty, that kids are school but not learning. We also don't want to see that children will simply finish and will not have jobs. They don't have the skills, they don't have the proper education. So this is actually a situation that we are addressing. So instead of thinking about learning loss, learning poverty, we will be asking our centers to contribute to learning realignment, that we need to reach out and get those children and teachers out from this situation. And that is SEAMEO Cares. So the new normal is that since last year, March, I remember I have asked the SEAMEO centers on the webinar. So our first webinar series was actually April. At the same time as we're having our SEAMEO Congress, that was our first webinar. And from that time on, we have already reached over 1 million teachers and learners since the pandemic. So we have asked our centers to go online platforms, no one left behind. So we have online series from education for culture and science. And we have also asked centers to contribute their learning resources and materials for free. So if you will go to our website at SEAMEO Secretariat, we have even asked our partners to contribute their learning resources for free, and many of them are really of good quality. We have asked our SEAMEO ministers, Council of Ministers, to share the responses and them up to now, how each country addressed the challenges brought by the COVID pandemic. So the news is that we were able to transition to the new normal, doing everything, teaching, learning, training online. But nevertheless, some member countries of us, for example, Laos, they use the combination of online plus also using the modules, or Timor-Leste utilize text by sharing all the lessons by text or mobile technology and the rest. So it's actually different strategies for all countries. But the thing is that we were able to move as one in our region. So many of you are curious because the topic is actually impact. We have a roadmap. Since 2015, we already have adopted priority areas. The priority areas of SEAMEO starts from the heart, which is early childhood care and education. We envision that by 2035, all at least 5 years old boy and girls will be having access to kindergarten, at least one. But in our region, some countries have 3 years, preparatory, nursery, and kindergarten. That's fine. But the minimum that we request from Southeast Asian countries is at least kindergarten, which is a policy, a national policy to have everyone, because the foundation years is in early childhood care and education, which is linked to number 2, inclusive education. So centers are also doing a lot of job to address barriers to inclusion. And then because we are in a region where there is a lot of problems on emergencies and cases of, for example, tsunami or storms or volcanic eruption, we also have asked our centers to do, training or education for emergencies. At the heart also of our intervention is promoting technical vocational training, because this is important for skills development. And don't forget teachers, they need to be revitalized, they need to be motivated. We need to get good teachers and higher education and adopting 21st century skills. So how are the centers doing their job? So you see in 1 year's time, the centers have 293 activities, whether it is face-to-face or online. And it is a lot of intervention per year. So the pandemic did not stop them from carrying on their job. So as you see, however, many of their activities are on higher education and 21st century skills and teacher education. So those are the three areas where most of our centers are working on. And priority areas for inclusive education and early childhood, we need to improve our activities there. So the ministers have moved forward with asking the centers to enhance teacher training, foster learning environment that is free from disruption, and also sustain open educational resources. And the recovery is now what we are currently doing, supporting teachers online, having country guidelines for COVID-19 prevention. We are still in a second or third wave. Recovery from learning gaps that I mentioned, the learning poverty, and support the disadvantaged learners. And we were trying to do our cares for fund for COVID-19. So you will see more and more activities from our centers because it is now our a decade launch of our strategic plan. Science agenda and culture agenda is part of our discussion. And we will continue to work with other international organizations to promote better coordination of educational intervention for human capital development. Let's go to researches. So our centers are into capacity building, into research and partnership. So when it comes to the research of the centers, many of them are carrying out a lot of researches. And their funding comes from their own budget or government funds, international and multilateral organization, and private funding, and our own endowment fund. But the center of their research programs are actually mostly for students and teachers and educators. So we will see that Indonesia has a lot of research program going on, right? Because our Biotrop Center has journal and RecFon also and the rest. So our Indonesian centers are performing well in the research and development. So this is the grade for impact, okay, 89.47%. Okay, and well, you can see that our centers are very, very active. For example, here I have shown to you how much or where did the centers contributed in terms of the research program. So you see Biotrop has 67 accomplished and 26 ongoing, and the new centers such as KIMKIS and RecFon also, they don't stop. They also contribute to research and development, and also Simulec and our centers of other centers have also contributed. So in education, the ongoing research is like a lot accomplished. In education, 67, in science, more, 105 were accomplished, and many are still ongoing. So this will just tell you that we are not on sleeping mode. And even if it's a pandemic, whether it is capacity building of 293 activities of SEAMEO or research programs, they are performing well. So as you see from the overview of our research, the second domain of the function of the centers accomplished just the last 2 years, 176 total, and ongoing 123 researches. These are scientific researches or educational policy researches and the like. So the centers are in somehow utilizing their budget and the host country's budget, but they are really doing well in terms of their accomplishments for capacity building and their research. And of course, now we are launching that we work together as one. Centers and ministries of education will develop CARES, COVID-19 Accessible and Responsive Educational Support Fund and Program to develop online learning resources and train more teachers even online or through webinars. So this has already been approved by our ministers, and I'm very lucky that most of them were able to say this during the SEAMEO Congress last week. So this is we started with some of the border school. We also have border school project. We went to Thailand and Laos border and helped or assisted those without any learning resources at all to have at least books and all of these online facilities. Of course, we need to do more because now lockdown, we cannot go out of Thailand right now and we cannot do a lot. But way forward is continue this collaboration for educational policy for the region and to think about the center of intervention, which is the learners. We need to retool and have them equipped with 21st century skills like the minister's message that digital gaps should be addressed and we should continue our work. So collaboration is a must. And we are here, we are willing to help, we're willing to facilitate all of these for our member countries. And well, to save the future, we are also asking that we continue to reopen schools and make education more inclusive, do not leave anyone behind, strengthen teachers and the workforce, the school principals, focus on education technology, and have education budget, real education budget, especially in this time of pandemic. Do not cut the education budget and mobilize the international resources for financing education. And let's use our resources better and more effective. So, in lifelong learning, we will continue to ask our centers in Indonesia to do more policy advocacy, to reach out because education is life, to identify all the areas where you can really intervene and help and offer documentation of this so other countries can also learn. So I think, I am very happy to say that I am very, very honored to share with you that our centers in Indonesia are doing great and we will continue to work with them. And if you want to look at all of those reports, just go to the SEAMEO Center website. We have the resources that are for free. You can download and get them. So with this, I would like to really ask you to subscribe our channel and be updated on any happening, any webinar from us and our centers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ethel, for the brief and insightful materials. Ladies and gentlemen, now may we proceed to the panel discussion that will be facilitated by Ms. Marcella Dwinda Dati Hutami from Cooperation and Public Relations Bureau as the moderator.
The director of 7 SEAMEO centers in Indonesia and activities of the respective centers. Therefore, may we invite Ms. Marcella to serve as the moderator for this discussion.
Thank you, Mrs. Rima and Mrs. Rita for the introduction. And good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and dear participants. Yang terhormat Bapak Ibu semua. I'm Marcella and I will be the moderator for the current session, which is plenary panel discussion featuring the directors of 7 SEAMEO centers in Indonesia on their major contributions to the education sector of Indonesia and also for other Southeast Asian countries. And before we start the session, I will briefly explain about the session rule. There will be 7 presenters from the SEAMEO centers, and the allotted time for each presenter is 10 minutes. And after each presentation, we will show you a video clip of testimonies of selected schools on the impact of programs and activities of the 7 SEAMEO centers to their respective schools. And after that, it will be followed by question and answer sessions. For this Q&A session, all participants will be muted during the session. And if the participants wants to ask question, please write it down on the Q&A box. And please send the question only for 7 panelists. Only for the 7 panelists, representatives from the SEAMEO centers. And please follow the format for asking questions. You can state your name, and then your country, and then your institution, and then your questions. The questions should be brief and clear, and later the committee will collect and choose some interesting questions. So the question and answer session will be about 20 minutes, and later the question will be shared on screen. So on that note, we are kindly ask your active participation in this session. So without further ado, I would like to start this session by inviting the first presenter, which is Dr. Suhamsyah Imran is currently designated as the Director of SEAMEO Regional Center for Tropical Biology, which is BioTrop. Alongside his activity as the Center Director, he is also active as a lecturer at Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science in IPB University. He also obtained his PhD degree in Biosphere Science from Hiroshima University in Japan. Dr. Suhamsyah is a strong advocate for coastal planning and management and environmental strategic assessment. And among his recent scientific publications were on community knowledge, attitudes, and practices towards environmental conservation, assessing influencing factors in Johor Bay, Lombok, and then coastal vulnerability index aftermath tsunami in Palu Bay. He was also recently honored with the Satya Lencana for 20 years of service for his contributions to education in Indonesia, given by the President of the Republic of Indonesia. Without further ado, I would like to kindly invite Dr. Suhamsyah Imran. The floor is yours, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope everybody can hear my voice. Yeah. His Excellency, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, His Excellency, Secretary General of Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, the participant, moderators, ladies and gentlemen. Let me confirm my presentation with the title SEAMEO Biotrop Contribution and its impacts to education in Indonesia and Southeast Asia and beyond, of course. Yeah. We know that SEAMEO Biotrop is a regional center under the Southeast Asia Ministry of Education organization that we call SEAMEO, hosted by the government of Indonesia under the Secretary General of the Ministry of Education and Culture, Research and Technologies. It was established on 6 February 1968. We know that in Indonesia we have seven SEAMEO center, and one of the center located in the Bogor. We know that when we pass to the Puncak, Puncak, we will find the Tajur is our headquarters. As far as relation with the IPB, may we inform that IPB is our home-based institution. Therefore, we use 10 hectare land belong to the IPB University here, but the building and facilities were funded by Minister of Education and Research and Technology and others donor organizations such as USAID, OSED, ITTO, and also ADB and JICA. We know that the SEAMEO Biotrop has several program and activities to support and education in Indonesia and also Southeast Asia, such as Smart Bee programs, fruit garden program, and then school garden, food safety, environment conservation, Star Village, and entrepreneurship. SEAMEO Biotrop has provided some laboratories such as tissue culture, entomology, phytopathology, aquatic, biotechnology, natural product, GIS and remote sensing, biosystem, herbarium, and environmental laboratory. We also have the one master program that conduct joint partnership between SEAMEO Biotrop and IPB University. We provide also some dormitory as well for the participant who attend our training. Next, please. The most interesting one modality of our center is International Journal of Biotropia with Scopus Indexes and quarter 3. Yeah, we know that the international journal we need for our publication, not on especially for researcher and lecturers. Yeah, we do hope, with the couple next year, we will provide one journal for the teachers. Yeah, especially for the vocational teachers. Yeah. We can see that this journal we publish regularly twice a year since 1970s. Yeah. Next, please. Yeah. I would like to more elaborate some information what laboratories do for our research in SEAMEO Biotrop. For example, here we can see that biotechnology laboratory has a research concern on genomic application, transcriptomic method for obtaining superior and disease-resistant plants, DNA barcode from various plants, animal, fungi, and bacteria. We can see also another laboratory such as the aquatic laboratory has research concern on the cultivation of aquatic fauna, which means fish and lobster here, such as ornamental fish and freshwater fish, such as freshwater crayfish. In Bahasa, we call lobster air tawar. Perhaps in this year, we will cultivate Faname as the marine brackish water shrimp fish. Yeah. Another laboratory, what they do every year, as we can see in this slide. Next, please. This slide shows to us that there are fluctuative number of research and institution participation in the period 2015 to 2021. We can see here the highest number of research is around 30 research in 2080, and then the lowest number is in 2020. Yeah, due to our preparation of fund from the national budget land in Indonesia. However, a number of partnerships are increased year to year, come from university, yeah, like is the Gajah Mada University, Diponegoro University, IPB University, and also research institution and vocational high school, including the senior high school that conducted for the school garden activities. Yeah. It can be seen that we changed stems and got diverse product of research, including publication, learning modules, and model or prototypes. As we can see in this slide, yeah, I cannot read all because takes time. Yeah. Besides research, Biotrop also conducts the capacity building activities, regular and tailor-made training, and learning activities such as regional training, national, in-country, and on-request training course based on the previous seminar, some seminar, workshop, a symposium, conference, focus group discussion, and meeting as request, and also what the SEAMEO Biotrop need to do to assess to meet with the hot issue. Until now, we have some topic for the training activities, namely school garden, urban farming, aquaculture, identification of mycotoxin, tissue culture, herbarium, invasive species, and so on. Let me convey a little bit Biotrop intensive programs. For years 2016 to 2020, we have 48 students from more than 136 learning institutions to conduct internship and or on-the-job training. So many students come to the SEAMEO Biotrop and they conduct their internship. Some continue with their research for the student in university. Area of internship, yeah, we can see here, we propose pest control, hydroponic, natural product, biotechnology, herbarium, waste management, tissue culture, food. Please next, please. Next, please. Yeah. Geographic information system, information technology, and office administration. Yeah. That there are some research working relationship. We cover also active 2 diploma student, 104 undergraduate student, and 23 postgraduate student, and 458 student from 85 university and 77 school. Next, please. Since 2019, we collaboration with the PT Kibo and associate agriculture company in Japan, SEAMEO Biotrop. These pictures show us some activity conducted by students come from Juanda and Satya Negara Indonesia University in Hokkaido 2019 and 2020. Even we face the pandemic COVID-19. Now we have prepared 22 students from faculties of fisheries and marine science, Pajajaran University, to conduct their internship on scallop marine culture in Hokkaido, Japan. Next, please. Now we arrive on Smart Bee program as one of our leading programs in SEAMEO Biotrop. Yeah, we know that Smart Bee program really in line with the President Instruction number 9 2016 on revitalization of vocational school to increase competitiveness of vocational school alumni. Smart Bee program cover 36 vocational high school distributed in 19 provinces, participated by 300 teachers and 7,000 students. Smart Bee program was extended to 32 high school that include senior high school, vocational high school, Islamic boarding school, and Islamic senior high school from Bogor district participate by 96 teachers. Yeah. So this year we will expand this program to this Southeast Asia. And also we will invite some vocationals, for some potential vocational school to engage this Smart Bee program. Next, please. We can see in this slide, so as training for training was conducted, a training program participated by 266 vocational high school, Islamic boarding school, and Islamic senior high school, and then 1,861 teachers. Yeah. The eighth topic of training within Smart Bee can be seen in this table. Smart Bee program has established 36 hectare fruit garden within 66 school. I would like to figure out that at least Biotrop had already planted with 19,000 round trees, and then 78% survival rates, and 46 varieties, and 99 fruit-based product, food break product. This program also produced 51 standard operational procedure, and it will be published by Biotrop. Next, please.
I'm sorry. Please
Yep.
kindly speed up because the time is already up. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, we know that we try to promote several program like Bioma, BLF, BTS, Biocharge, Biominds, Biomob, Biota, and Biosobat. That's all my presentation. Thank you.
You are still on mute, Miss Marcella, sorry.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Sulham Shah Imran, for the very interesting presentation. I'm so sorry, I need to cut the presentation because the time is up. But later, we can follow it up more in the question and answer session. And after this, we will show you the video clip from SMK Pertanian Pembangunan Negeri Mataram. They will be presenting testimony on the impact of program and activities of Biotro for the school. Please.
Kami dari perwakilan SMKPP Negeri Mataram berterima kasih kepada SEAMEO Biodrop telah berpartisipasi dan membagikan ilmu mengenai program Smart B. Setelah adanya program Smart B, pertama sekolah kami menjadi lebih indah dan kami selaku siswa dapat mengetahui ilmu lebih jauh lagi masalah pengembangbiakan tanaman dan perawatannya di pot.
Program Smart B dari Biotrop ini sangat membantu kami SMKPP Negeri Mataram. Kami masukkan dalam bagian dari kurikulum yang terintegrasi sehingga program ini memberikan dampak yang bagus untuk menumbuhkan di samping kompetensi anak-anak juga menumbuhkan jiwa wirausaha.
Kami SMK Negeri 1 Petang ikut program Smart B sudah dari tahun 2018. Kegiatan kami di SMK Negeri 1 Petang dalam kegiatan Smart B adalah penanaman lemon California. Kami di SMK Negeri 1 Petang menanam seluas 50 hara, tanamannya sebanyak 200 tanaman. Sekarang tanaman lemon California ini sudah mulai berbuah. Jadi dari awal, dari perencanaan sampai dengan sekarang kami selalu dibimbing dan diarahkan dari atau pembimbing-pembimbing dari SEAMEO Biodrop. Buah jeruknya sudah panen Pak dari tahun 2019 akhir. Jadi kami sudah melakukan pemanenan beberapa kali. Jadi sampai saat ini sudah menghasilkan atau satu kali musim panen itu bisa sampai 350 kg.
Saya terpilih menjadi salah satu guru yang mengikuti magang industri di SEAMEO Biodrop. Nah, untuk prakteknya di situ saya mengambil tentang hidroponik. Hidroponik yang saya dapat di sini itu pun membuka mata saya bahwa ternyata budidaya secara hidroponik itu ya adalah sebuah cara pertanian modern yang saya pikir selama ini sangat susah, ternyata tidak susah gitu. Asal ada aja kemauan. Pertanian kita itu tidak hanya sekedar mencangkul loh, kita bisa juga bertani secara elit istilahnya gitu. Kita bisa bertani secara bersih dengan pakaian yang juga bersih. Kemudian dengan adanya hidroponik ini masyarakat itu udah semakin tinggi minatnya untuk mengkonsumsi sayuran-sayuran hidroponik.
Okay, thank you Biodrop and for the SMK Pertanian Pembangunan Negeri Mataram for the video. And now we will move on to the second presenter, which is from Simolec, Dr. Alpha, the Center Director of SEAMEO Simolec. As a PhD graduate in Social Sciences from the Amsterdam Institute for the Social Science Research, Universiteit van Amsterdam, the Netherlands, along with his diverse experiences in academic, media, and community engagement, Dr. Alpha has gained an impressive network throughout Indonesia, extended to Southeast Asia and beyond as well. Without further ado, I would like to kindly invite Dr. Alpha. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, moderator. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to share my presentation on my own. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to elaborate our work our effort in the development of distance learning in higher education. Distance learning, actually, there is no difference in principle between open and distance learning and face-to-face learning, because all of these methods, they involve lecturers, they also involve students, they also involve learning materials, and also involving learning interactives. And distance and learning concept, yeah, we have provider, higher education institutions. These higher education institutions should act as providers, and then there should also a platform which is in the form of learning materials, and then the service that we are giving is the learning activities, and then the users, student, lecturers, and then administrators. This is the distance learning concept. And for the instructional designer, yeah, we need people or human resource development to conduct this open and distance learning. And who are they? They are instructional designer, they are subject matter experts, they are web and media developer, and they are administrator and also IT technician. And the instructional designers, they determine the skills and knowledge that need to be covered, and they select the appropriate learning strategy. They also determine learning delivery and learning assessment strategy. So this is the job of the instructional designer, who is this person would play a very important role in ensuring that the distance learning conducts accordingly. And the subject matter experts, yeah, along with the instructional designer, we need subject matter experts who has an expertise in the content. They contribute relevant knowledge and information. They design the lesson plan. They also design the assessment strategy. They develop learning materials. And the main lecturer in the online learning, they provide also learning materials. Problems. Along with the instructional designer and subject matter experts, we also need web and media developer who will assemble learning elements, who will also develop interactive learning media and components. And the next one that we need is administrator, course admin, online facilitators, and tutors who will manage users of LMS, yeah, who will provide solution for application admin and administration related problems. And they will also provide services related to students' active participation, and they ensure information flow related to learning process. And the last person that we need in making sure that distance learning is conducted accordingly is IT technician, who will develop LMS platform, who will adjust platform interface, who will install learning platform application into web server, and install and configuring database. And these are the stages of distance learning development that we currently also applying in higher education. First is planning. We need the needs identification. Yeah. And then the development, the instructional design that I just mentioned or elaborated before. And then the implementation, the learning implementation, and then the evaluation, measuring learning achievement. So these are the stages, the phases of distance learning development, from planning, development, implementation, and evaluation, that we have been conducting this to our partners of higher education institution across Indonesia and beyond. The planning, for example, the stages descriptions is planning for development program and activities, identifying the needs of program development, provision of competence needs, infrastructure, and other relevant needs. These are the stages descriptions. And then the outputs is activity plan for program development. The target, institution leader, the educators, and administrators. And then these are the development. The stages description. First is development of lesson plan. The outputs, of course, is the lesson plan, and the target is lecturers. The activities is in the form of training and workshop. And then the next is training for digital learning content development. The output that we expect is digital learning content development competence. And the targets are lecturers, multimedia team, and the activities that can be in the form of training, self-learning and online assisting workshops, self-learning and online assisting as well. And we also have digital learning content development. Outputs is digital instructional materials. The target is lecturers, multimedia team, yeah. And we also have digital learning content review. And the expected output is the improvement of digital instructional materials. So we cannot just do the digital materials at once. Yeah, we have to go through stages. One of them is the reviewing to make sure that it is done accordingly and it is suitable for the need. And then digital learning content finalization, the expected output is instructional materials to be ready to be integrated into LMS. And digital learning content finalization, of course, I did mention already. And the last one is the integration digital learning content into LMS. The outputs that we expect is instructional materials, which is ready to be accessed by students. And the targets are lecturers and IT technicians. Activities are in the form of training usually. And this is the implementation, the stages description. The indicators of learning implementations are first, management of learning implementation, communication process, learners' response, learning activities, and learning results. These are the outputs that we expect. We expect to have a report of learning implementation result. And the targets is lecturers, students, administrators, and IT technicians. Activities are usually in the form of lecturing activities. And then the evaluation, these are the stages description. First, analysis of learning implementation result. The output that we expect is learning implementation result report. The target is the institution itself. In this case, is the university or higher education institution. And the activities are self-learning. And we also have dissemination. The output we expect is the publication. The target is the institution itself. And the research, the expected output is the journal, and the target is the lecturer, and the activities are workshop and classroom action research. And the report preparation, we expect to have recommendations. The target is our institution, SEAMEO, because we need recommendations from our partners. In this case, it's higher education institutions or universities. And the activities is usually in the form of evaluation of program invitation. And after that, we need to have a follow-up plan. And the target is, of course, our own partner. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I would like to end my presentation. Very simple, but we have already done this extensively and intensively with our partners, particularly by higher education institutions, universities across Indonesia and beyond. Thank you very much, Moderator. I would like to end my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alpha, for the very concise presentation on development of distance learning in higher education. Apparently, you still have like 5 minutes more. Do you want to add something maybe, or maybe later on the question and answer session?
We can just go to the testimony of our partner. Thank you.
Sure. And now the video clip testimony from Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa University, or Untirta. They will tell the impact of programs and activities of SEAMEO to the university. Please.
Secara legal kita menyiapkan mulai di Desember 2019 dalam rangka penyiapan untuk pembelajaran berbasis blended learning, dan kami langsung mendapatkan support dan bantuan dari tim teknis SEAMEO yang memberikan informasi perkembangan sistem IT, penyiapan modul pembelajaran, dan sekaligus juga memberikan masukan dan arahan kepada para dosen dalam rangka penyiapan pembelajaran berbasis IT. Sistem pembelajaran dari Untita ini mendapatkan penguatan konten, termasuk juga desain-desain model pembelajaran dari tim Simolek kepada dosen-dosen yang ada di Untirta. Dan alhamdulillah pada Untirta termasuk yang rate pengunjungnya termasuk tinggi secara nasional. Ini juga saya kira berkat support yang intensif dari tim Simolek. Ke depan saya kira partnership antara Simolek dengan Untirta dan mungkin dengan perguruan tinggi lain harus terus ditingkatkan. Khusus di Untirta tentu kita akan mendapatkan juga dukungan sepenuhnya dari tim Simolek untuk implementasi kampus merdeka. Itulah harapan kami dengan terus memperkuat kerjasama yang baik dengan Simolek.
Thank you so much, Simolek and Untirta, for the very interesting video clip of testimony. And now for the third panelist, we will have from Rekfon, Professor Dr. Muhtarudin Mansur is the director of SEAMEO Regional Center for Food and Nutrition, or Rekfon. He is a medical doctor by training with specialty in occupational medicine. He also serves as a lecturer at the Faculty of Medicine of Universitas Indonesia. His past positions include being the director of the Health and Sports Medicine of the Director General for Community Health of the Ministry of Health of Indonesia from 2014 to 2016. Professor Dr. Muhtarudin obtained his PhD in Health and Community Care from the Leeds University. Now, please, Professor Dr. Muhtarudin, the time is yours.
Thank you, Marcella.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, may I start to share the screen, please? Yeah. Well, the Honorable Secretary General, Minister of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, SEAMEO Secretary Director, the Head of Bureau of Cooperation and Public Relations, Minister of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, Director of Research and Community Services, Universitas Indonesia, SEAMEO GB members, all MCs, moderator, speakers, and panelists, distinguished all participants. Very good morning. Selamat pagi, sawadika, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's an honor for me on behalf of SEAMEO Rekfon to share the presentation of what SEAMEO Rekfon have been doing on building healthy human capitals through freedom learning. Sorry, I can move my slide. Well, can you see my slide, please?
Dr. Mukhtar?
Yeah.
You are sharing your slide from your side, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you not put it in slide mode now?
Okay, please. If you can see.
Okay. If it is, let's see if Simulec, our IT team, would be sharing their file. If you will stop sharing, and then they will share the file. and you will just be requesting them to move on per slide. If
Sure, yeah. Is it from my side still? Okay. Well, at glance, second slide, please. At glance, RECFON has a vision and mission as stated. And since 1993, the center has also been hosted by the Universitas Indonesia as a regional nutrition study center. Next, please. In fulfilling its mandate to address nutrition and food problems in Southeast Asia region, RECFON has a prevention and mitigation approach. In mitigation effort, the target is early childhood, while prevention effort focus on school-age children and adolescents. Both of these approaches aim at preventing the long-term effect of malnutrition and also protecting future generation from nutritional problems. In this approach, RECFON made two flagship programs, namely Anakku Sehat dan Cerdas, or in SEAMEO country member, we introduce as early childhood care, nutrition and education, and Gizi untuk Prestasi, as also known as Nutrition Goes to School, or NGTS. Next. These two priority programs are in line with the idea of Merdeka Belajar, or independent learning, and Campus Merdeka as independent campus. In the ACCNE and GTS programs, teachers are trained and receive technical assistance so that they can independently teach science related to food and nutrition in schools. In addition, these two programs require collaboration with higher education institutions, where higher education institutions can take advantage of these two programs as part of the embodiment of the independent campus program. This entire program is certainly a place to develop multidimensional competencies for teacher, academics, and also student. Next, please. Building for school teachers. We carry out various kinds of training, both face-to-face, online, or in the blended learning system. In addition, we organize a series of webinars with the aim of facilitating sharing of good practice between teachers. Next, please. In the webinar entitled NGTS Solution, teachers who have joined the Nutrition for Achievement program and have implemented a nutrition promotion program the opportunity to share good practices and the respective school. This forum also involves local education offices and health and nutrition professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, next slide, please. In addition,